everyone, welcome to Tiki Oasis TV. I am Jolie Goodnight, Miss Tiki Oasis 2015, and I'm here with the incredible brother Cleve over here. That's right, we got a brother in the house.
How y'all doing?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm just doing just fine,
Good. Well, I wanted to ask you a few silly questions, if that's all right, and a few not as silly questions, if that's cool. I know that you started off as a musician, right? You're a musician as well. And so I know that means you travel a lot, right? So what city kind of inspires you the most musically and cocktail-y?
Probably New Orleans.
Oh,
I go to Tales of the Cocktail down there every year, but I've been going to New Orleans since the 80s. I lived down there briefly for a while. I was in a band down there, so I was like kind of going back and forth all the time. And the Saturn Bar in New Orleans was one of my favorite bars, still there to this day. Not really a cocktail place, more of a shot and a beer, but you know, the rings of Saturn on the ceiling and a mummy hanging and a crane game with like penis squirt guns in it and a weird jukebox and an art gallery that was all done by a schizophrenic beatnik back in the early 60s. So
cool.
Quite the place to go. But the classic cocktails out of New Orleans, the Sazerac, the Bocarat, etc., are just, I mean, they're wonderful, wonderful drinks. And bitters were first created there, and technically speaking, a cocktail has to have bitters in it to be called a cocktail.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. Learning something.
There you go.
That's neat. So the birth of bitters and the birth of jazz happened in the same city. That's rad. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, so I read that you have done sort of grunge-based cocktails recently.
I did one. They requested it from Punch magazine, and so in the '90s, I was in the band Combustible Edison, which was the first cocktail band. We had a Campari sponsorship. We played lounge music, lounge exotica. That's when I met Otto von Stroheim and Baby Doe and Sven Kirsten and Jeff Beachbum Berry and all these folks in the '90s.
Yeah.
But we were on Sub Pop. And you know, that was Nirvana and Mudhoney and Tad, one of my favorites. So I did create a cocktail called The Loser, which was a great Tad song favorite of mine.
Yeah,
so
cool.
They just called, you know, they sent me an email and said, can you create a grunge cocktail? And I said, yeah. So it had like beef jerky in it and beef bouillon and Jägermeister
awesome.
and gin and Jack Daniels and Pepsi, because they had done a song called Jack Pepsi. So
Okay.
you know.
Okay. Well, so do you plan on doing any other musical genre-based cocktails in the future?
Yeah. Actually, I already have, because I've spent a lot of time in India, and in fact, I just played a set of all Bollywood rock and roll and spy music from Indian spy movies of the 60s and 70s. So I've put out 2 compilation albums that I produced called Bombay Disco, volumes 1 and 2, and I've done cocktail recipes in the second volume of that, which has different things like garam masala and cardamom and all sorts of Indian spices in the mix.
That's
so
really
and using
cool.
Indian rum and whiskey. They like a lot of Scotch down in the subcontinent as well.
Okay.
So.
Well, that makes sense. Historically, I can see how that could happen.
I love India.
Yeah.
Jai Hind.
Cool.
Actually, in India, my name is Sharabi Kapoor. So I'm DJ Sharabi Kapoor. Sharabi is the Hindi word for drunkard.
Perfect. That's great. If Tiki Oasis were a drink, what do you think that would be?
It would have a lot of ingredients in it. It would be very, very boozy. And it would have dry ice in it, so smoke would be pouring out of it, just like the eyes of our Tiki pal over here, our Moai. Smoke comes out of his eyes, if you haven't seen that. And it would be kind of syrupy, sweet, sour, bitter, and boozy.
Sounds perfect. Sounds good to me. I'm in. I want it.
Yeah. All right, where's the booze? Let's make it now.
Yeah, let's make it. All right, well, one more question.
Okay.
What is your must-do favorite thing to do here at Tiki Oasis?
Whenever I go to the events like this, and I do Tiki events all over the world, actually, and I call me old-fashioned. I like seeing all my old friends and meeting new friends as well. But I do travel around. I go to all the new tiki bars in the country, and I do some auto. You know, I live 3,000 miles away, so auto and baby dough I don't see that often. And Beach Bum Berry I see a lot in New Orleans, but I hadn't seen Sven Kirsten in probably 15 years. So, you know, catching up with people that you know. Same at the cocktail festivals, like at Tales of the Cocktail. Same too.
Yeah, it is like a big reunion here. I'm always so happy to see my friends that feel like family and my new friends that feel like, you know, just part of my life now. You know, it's really cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
And we get to have drinks.
And we get to have drinks. Yay! Best reunion ever. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you very much. And thanks y'all for tuning in to Tiki Oasis TV. Y'all have a good one.